Ever wondered how Azure DevOps actually deploys your code? Well, it's all thanks to the deployment agent. But what exactly is it? And why do we need it? Stick around. Let's break it down with a fun example. Think of a deployment agent as your personal delivery guy. Imagine you ordered a pizza. The restaurant prepares it, but how does it reach to your home? Through a delivery agent, right? In Azure DevOps, the deployment agent works just like that. It picks up your application from the pipeline and delivers it to the destination server where it needs to run. So, why can't Azure DevOps just deploy the code on its own? Well, it needs access to your target machines, and that's where deployment agents come in. They execute tasks on behalf of Azure DevOps. They work on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. They help in securely transferring files and running scripts on target servers. Let's see it in action. I have a web app, and I want to deploy it to my own VM using a self-hosted deployment agent. Go to Azure DevOps, then select your project, and on left-hand side, select Pipelines, hit Deployment Groups. Click on Plus button to create a new deployment group. Give it a meaningful name. And hit Create. You will get a PowerShell script to register and install an agent. Copy the script and open the server where you want to deploy your application. Open PowerShell as admin. Paste the script and hit Enter. You will see two folders, Azagent and A1 has been created. Now wait for next step. It will ask you to enter PAT. To get the PAT personal access token, go back to the Azure DevOps. On the top right corner, you will see User Settings button. Click on it. Select Personal Access Token. Click on New Token. Give it a name. And select expiry of that token. And allow read-write access. User must have read-write option to install agent. And hit Create. Copy the code. You have to save it somewhere, because then you won't be getting the code again. Paste the code in the PowerShell and hit Enter. Next, it will ask to enter deployment group tags. I would not prefer to give name here. We will be able to give it a tags afterward from Azure DevOps. So just hit Enter. It will default value as no. Hit Enter until you see message that agent has installed successfully. You will see a Azure folders has been created. To verify that, go to the C drive and look for Azagent folder along with A1 folder. Open Services. You will see Azure Agent Service has been started. Now go to the Azure DevOps deployment group. Boom, we got our server here. Now you can give tag name here that we didn't give during installation. Give meaningful name. And save it. Now we can use this deployment group in the release pipeline. I will create separate video on how to create CICD pipeline. In the release pipeline in the deployment agent task, select group name and add tag as on which server you want to deploy your application. Now let's see how to upgrade the agents. To upgrade the agents on target servers to the latest version without having to redeploy them, select the More Actions ellipsis next to the deployment group on the Deployment Groups page and select Update Targets. Moving further, let's talk about deployment pools. A deployment pool is a set of target servers that are available to the entire Azure DevOps organization. To create and update deployment pools, you need Project Collection Administrator permissions in the Azure DevOps organization. When you create a new deployment pool for an organization, you can automatically provision corresponding deployment groups for selected projects or all projects in the organization. These deployment groups have the same target servers as the deployment pool. You can share deployment groups with other projects in the organization to provision your deployment group for other projects. Let's do practice for this. From your Azure DevOps project, select Pipelines, then Deployment Groups. Now select your deployment group and then select Manage. In the next step, select projects from the list to share to, and then select Save. Let's verify it. Go to the projects that you shared with, go to the deployment group, and you will get new deployment added tagged as shared in this project that you selected. Let's verify the selected project. If you remember, I checked To Project. And that's how deployment agents make Azure DevOps deployments super smooth. Have you used one before? Drop your questions in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more DevOps content.